to 27th, 23rd, 17th. I think we ended up 6th or 7th overall. 2020 started off 29th, dropped to 27th, 23rd, ended up 17th or 16th overall. This year, we're doing basically the same exact thing. But I think with the addition of Bolton, Ingram, Willie Gay's come into his own. I mean, everything that we have done to make the changes that needed, that everybody said Spags didn't do, we will end up at the end of this season, if we continue on the path we're on, we're going to end up better than top 10. And if we do,
we're on one right now.
Yeah. I don't see how anybody can touch us, because there's not if we can beat the number one offense in the league, we are not playing the number one offense in the league again the rest of the season. We're just not. So, and right now, Mahomes leading the league in everybody in yards. I don't know how many. I haven't seen his stats. You know his stats. What are they, Brandon? Where's he at in touchdowns right now?
He has 25, I believe. Okay. I'm pulling it up to just a minute. Yeah, 25 with 11 interceptions, but 6 of those had a 75% chance or greater of being caught.
Correct.
So really, you look at it, he's at 5 interceptions.
5 interceptions, yeah. Correct.
5 that actually, and even the percentage, they could be 74 and not count, should have a lot less. He's averaging 291 yards a game, which is still, for how it feels like he's played, pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
crazy. And he's had 2 5-touchdown games, correct, this season?
I remember the
Raiders, I think, is the highest he's gotten this year.
Thought he had
against
one
Philly.
more.
Yeah, he had 5.
He had 5 in Philly, too. Yeah.
You guys think he can get a 500-yard game this year?
I think he can. I think it depends on who's calling the plays. That's my whole thing. Who's calling the plays? If Andy's calling the plays and lets Mahomes run with it, he can have a 500-yard game.
I can see the Chargers game being that. Their defense is bad.
It's terrible.
That's fair.
They're awful. For getting the best defense from last year's coach and having all that talent they have on there, they're terrible.
Yeah.
I
don't know what their problem is.
You beat us before, they're just going to unleash it. I could see the defense holding them under 10 points, and I could see the offense going for Mahomes for 500 yards, because a team, Mahomes, similar to Jordan, is not going to let you just beat him twice.
Correct.
Yeah.
He has that mentality that
he really
have.
does.
And I think that going into that game, they're going to take that and run with it.
Yeah.
They'll come up with some kind of bulletin board material narrative.
Yep.
And they'll go crazy that game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, he's his dad. I mean, he really is. He's got going back to us playing on the road better. I really, truly, I've racked my brain about this, and I've talked to so many other people, whether it be players or agents or media or people that are, within the team. I even talked to, I've asked other players, and I said, I don't understand. Even going back to the 90s, we were always the team that played better at home. We would win every game at home, and then, we'd lose a couple on the road. I didn't understand what it was about this team that we're doing so much better on the road. And everybody almost said the same exact thing. And it was almost kind of what I was thinking, but it's like they want to embarrass. It's almost like they want to beat you at your home stadium. It's like they have this drive inside of them that's like, okay, let's just go out and kick their ass at their house.
You want to make their fans have a bad day.
Make their fans have a bad day, make their coach have a bad day, make them have a bad day. And they score more on the road. They play better on the road. It's just a weird thing. I don't know what it is, but everybody has come to that conclusion. And like I said, players have told me that, agents have told me that. It's weird. I had that kind of mindset at first. And then I thought, nah. And I had all these other people I asked him, what do you think the reason is? I think they just want to kick somebody's ass at their home field. I think they just want to beat their ass at home. I think that's what they want to do. And that's what everybody has said to me. And it's so crazy to think that maybe that's the truth. I don't know. But
Kind of in desperation mode when you're on the road, though, too. Just like, well, we're in a hostile environment. If we can basically beat them, get the crowd to be quiet. I mean, that just shows us like, hey, we can go anywhere and beat anyone. We know we own it at Arrowhead. If we go to other teams and beat them, and something happens, we have to go away team in the playoffs. We know what to do. They know the script. I think that's very beneficial.
Well, it's pretty crazy too, because it's so much harder to win on the road. I mean, you've got the crowd, you don't know the stadium, you don't know a lot of different things that you don't have the luxuries that you have at home. I mean, just no different than like in Washington. I mean, no, in Kansas City is a great example. I mean, I don't know if you guys have been inside the locker rooms at Kansas City, but the visiting locker room's not that nice. I'll tell you that right now. It's not. So, I mean, it's not like it's a dungeon, but it's not nearly what you would think it would be. And I'm sure that's the same for a lot of other stadiums, but it's not the Taj Mahal by any means. So it would be, in my opinion, it would be more difficult to go on the road and be in a locker room that gives you corn nuts and tiny bottles of water compared to being in your locker room where you get all the luxuries and everything that, you would get at your own home. The Chiefs don't care. They bring it on, and they bring it on hard, whatever they're on the road. Hey, let's bring up something really quick. Jason Garrett got launched, which I knew was going to happen. In fact, after that game last night, a guy called me. Well, you know who he is, Caleb, that agent friend of mine. He called me and he said, well, Garrett's done. And I had a feeling. And he said, yeah, he probably won't get another job in the NFL. And I said, well, I didn't expect him to get a job in the NFL after the Dallas run. And he did. And I'm kind of wondering your guys' opinion on the Giants right now. We have a good guy that, an ex-Chief that plays there. We talk to him on Instagram a lot. Reggie Ragland. Love Reggie.
I love Reggie.
One of the nicest guys.
Back. So
want him back in Kansas City. I tell him all the time. In fact, when we were playing the Giants, I told him, I said, hey, man, I said, if you accidentally end up in the wrong locker room and in the wrong jersey, I'm really not going to be upset. I said, just want to let you know that. He just laughed. He loves it. He loves the fact that we want him back so bad. And in fact, I thanked him when he kicked the shit out of the Raiders. But it's one of those things that I said, by the way, thank you very much, bro. I love you. But what do you think about that? I feel bad. There's a player on that team other than Reggie that I really feel bad for. And I'm sure you guys probably know who it is, and it's Saquon Barkley. The kid had so much potential coming out of college, ends up with a terrible football team, and I don't know why he's still there. Is he on his 5th-year option now?
I think he's about to be on his 4.
I think he's on his
Is it 4 now?
I think
he might be on his 3rd.
3 or 4.
He came the year after Mahomes, I think.
Yeah, he was the same
year.
He was the same draft class as Baker Mayfield.
Oh, so it was the year after then. It was the year after. Because Mayfield was the year after Mahomes, correct?
Yep, 2018.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess maybe, I'm hoping that he gets out of there soon. I hope Reggie gets out of there. I think Reggie's, if I'm not mistaken, this is his last year on this contract. And I'm hoping and praying that he's out of there. Man, if he comes back to Kansas City, that'd be fantastic. What do you think of Jason Garrett being launched? And do you think he has a career left in the NFL?
I think they had way too much talent for how it performed. I don't think Daniel Jones is like the greatest thing ever, but I don't think he's as bad as he's made out to be. And they got Galladay, Sterling Shepard, Kadarius Toney.
Yeah.
Ingram's got some butterfingers, but he's still pretty good. Kyle Rudolph. They've got weapons. Saquon.
Yeah.
just to be that bad with that much talent is just
Yeah.
mind-boggling. And I think a better OC could have done better. I feel like there's a lot of potential in Daniel Jones.
I do too.
He can move. He's got an arm. I just think he's ran into some bad luck with his coaching. That if he,
I would agree.
like kind of like Darnold, he started out better, and this year with Carolina, he ended up not doing too well. But maybe Daniel Jones in a change of scenery would be something really good. I don't know if it's Garrett or Joe Judge, but they really did not set him up for. You can have that much talent and be that bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kenny Galladay was the top wide receiver free agent, and
Yeah.
went there, and he's been hurt, but you never hear about him. Sterling Shepard's good, does nothing. Kadarius Toney performs, but they
don't utilize him correctly either.
I just think it was good they let him go, but that whole thing is a mess.
It really is. Yeah. Garrett is kind of what. Go ahead, it's Caleb.
Oh, I just think kind of what it comes down to. I knew there were going to be a problem when they drafted Daniel Jones over Dwayne Haskins. I think Dwayne would have done better with the weapons they have now, especially during that time. And I had a feeling whenever Judge has been like another guy who's just going to struggle. So I think it's just a team overall, the culture. They have the weapons. They should not be struggling. They should be a good offense. But I think it's going to take some stuff, and I don't know what they're going to do. But that's one thing I'm grateful with Andy Reid, an offensive-minded coach, knows what to do, knows what players to put around, and it makes it better for everyone. Because when you see some team like the Giants, it's just sad to see. You have all these guys that are great, and they're struggling. So I wouldn't be surprised if like a Saquon Barkley leaves in a couple years. So you never know. So, I mean, there's just many different things that I see just kind of the options on the table moving forward with them.
They're one of those teams that, like, from like a Madden standpoint, they're a team you want to be.
Yeah.
Because they've got the shiny weapons at every position. They're all highly rated. Mm-hmm. Daniel Jones can get you by. He can move. Like, he's got potential. But then you go out there on the field and they're like terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they should be significantly better.
They should.
I hope they figured out their team. You don't want to see. I mean, they're New York, so you don't want New York teams to succeed. But with their players, they all well-liked players. I liked Golden Tate when he played there.
Yeah, yeah.
That was it just didn't work out. I just feel bad for all the players there, especially Saquon.
Yeah,
he
he's
could have
the
been
one
like
that really
best running back, and he gets banged up because their O-line is like terrible. They drafted, I think it was Andrew Thomas when they could have picked. There's like 3 or 4 other O-line out there they could have picked, and they went with him.
Yeah,
he's even just screwing up the picks. That Gettleman, he's got to go.
Yeah.
It's just it's a.
They're gonna have to figure out something.
The one thing that I was taught years ago, and I had a mentor that taught me something, and then I heard Marty Schottenheimer say it, and I got to spend a lot of time at Marty back in the day, and the one thing that I've always kind of modeled my life after and my business after is that you're only as good as the people that you hire, and you always hire someone that is as good as you, if not better. So looking at their system, going from their head coach, general manager, head coach down, if you're going to bring in someone that like a Jason Garrett, and I've never been a big Jason Garrett fan, I just haven't. He didn't do anything for Dallas, and he was hung on to because of Jerry Jones and their relationship. I truly believe that he was the reason why their offense failed as horribly as it did. But that also goes up the chain of command, because if you're going to hire someone that is not as good as you or better, then you're setting your team up for failure. You're setting your business up for failure. So you have to bring in people that are as good as you, if not better, that are as like-minded as you, and that have the talent to be able to excel you to the next level. And I think that's part of the problem with not just the Giants, but other teams as well. I mean, we've even struggled in that position this year to a degree. Part of our issue during our little slump was part of that problem. I'm not going to get into that too far, but we've already gotten into that in prior shows, and I'm going to leave it at that. But sometimes people think they're better than they are. Sometimes people think that they can do it a different way and it'll work, and they find out that it doesn't. It's the Browns are in a, you know, and I know we're a Chiefs podcast, but we do like to